Hello, welcome to Kinase YouTube. Today, Toby and I caught up on AI Max for shopping and the upcoming bid algorithm changes in August.
What are the key changes coming for AI Max for shopping that we have to start thinking about now?
So I think the big one is that PMax is not the only route to AI-focused placements for products. Previously, and it's actually come up a lot recently in various talks that I've done, conversations in the office, conversations with clients, is how should we be using PMax, and very focused on that. And a lot around how to control PMax to get it to do what you want. But fundamentally, PMax is not a tool for control. It is a tool for utilizing AI and scaling and getting as much volume as you can. AI Max for shopping brings back some of that control. As we've seen with AI Max for search, you can use it in exactly the same way that you'd use a standard search campaign. But the idea being that it will be focused on those SERP placements. So if you do want to have proper segmentation of on SERP, off SERP, with your search and shopping ads in one bucket and your demand gen and looking at your branded YouTube in another bucket, this allows you to do that without then having a bit of a mix of Gmail placements, YouTube placements coming in as well, but still get the benefits of AI that standard shopping just don't have at this stage.
Yeah, exactly. That's very interesting. I think when PMax first launched, obviously it was a big change from standard shopping in terms of the inventory, the level of control, the level of visibility that you got. And I feel like Google definitely learned a lot from that when they launched AI Max for search.
Yeah, for sure.
And it feels like they've taken lots of those lessons and they've almost made a product in AI Max for shopping that marketers wish they made for PMax originally.
I mean, it does make you wonder how much it's almost just going back to smart shopping, essentially.
Yeah.
Because I mean, if you think about it, as smart shopping is the precursor for PMax, it was now you can get your shopping ads on other placements. AI Max for shopping, the idea is that it's only on SERP, that it's not being the same as smart shopping in terms of putting those product cards on other placements, but then also it's removing some of that additional functionality that you get within PMax of the DSA and the video and other components as well. It is interesting with that change because right now the only alternative, because previously we'd use DSA feeds and we'd use the product shopping feed, we'd upload that in, categorize it so it would align with our product categories that we had campaign segmentation for, all of that. The AI Max for shopping is essentially going to replace that, and rather than having to extract from the shopping feeds to then bring it into a separate business data feed to then connect it to your search campaigns and make sure it's labeled properly, it will just come straight from the feed with all the labels that you've already got in the segmentation that you have already planned for your shopping campaigns.
Exactly. And it makes it even more important now to make sure that your shopping data is up to date. You're utilizing all of the new attributes that are coming in Merchant Center. Lots of them are UCP focused around agentic product discovery, but then also it's about getting those fundamentals right again. I think places like Amazon have done it for a long time, making sure that those merchants with the best structured data and the most information in their feeds tend to do pretty well in terms of visibility. And that's sort of doubling down now on Google, making sure that you have product highlights, all your attributes filled in, Q&A, alternative items, ways to make sure that your items can show up when people are searching, how they're searching natural language.
It's going to be interesting to see how much it impacts feed optimization, because feed optimization has always been important. I mean, for most advertisers, shopping will make up a solid sort of thirds, 2/3 of their advertising account of their media spend. But feed optimization is often an area that's overlooked. But with some of the changes that are coming in, things like I can sort of adjust your product titles fundamentally. Does that mean that things like title testing are gonna be a thing of the past? Is it going to be important to optimize your titles or focus more on the actual quality of the content and the breadth of the content that you've got in your shopping feed?
I suppose that comes hand in hand, doesn't it, though? Because the only way it's been said that it's going to be Google will be editing your title to make sure that it's as relevant as possible for the people, what they're searching for. But they're only going to be able to adjust that title based off of the information you provide, either in the structured data on your website or what you already put into your feed. And so title testing is just the tip of the iceberg. It's all that other rich data that you have in the back of your feed or in your site structured data that it can pull from and make sure that, okay, the loft of the fabric, how much insulation we have in it, that's something that this user might be searching for, so we can pull that into the title. Or this is what the hydrostatic head is. on the fabric to make sure that it's waterproof enough for people that are interested in waterproofness or breathability.
I think there's also a lot of learnings that we can take from what we've seen with AI Max for search in this as well. Because it's one thing to say it can modify your title, it can make these changes. But as we've seen with AI Max, where it can modify your headlines and it can modify your landing pages, actually, most of the traffic still goes to the defaults that you set. So, although technically they can adjust and tweak the title based on all this information, it's important to have it all in there. I expect the vast majority of the time it will be serving your default title rather than modifying it and tweaking it on that user's search. How that will change as ads come into AI mode, though, that's a completely different question.
Yeah, definitely. I saw a post on LinkedIn from Ginny Marvin about value-based bidding changes to the algorithm. Do you want to give us a bit of a long and short of what this means for us and what the changes are?
Well, I can give the short first. The short is fundamentally nothing really changes from how we were meant to be doing things before anyway. There are some benefits. Bidding algorithms that have been previously capped by budget, in the sense of if you're on a max conversion value without TROAS or max conversions without a TCPA, they now will spend their budget a bit more efficiently. So if you have some weekly phasing where there's more demand on certain days, less demand on other days, it will phase your budget around that a bit. But the main change that everyone's talking about is the change to how TROAS and your budget interact. So previously, if you were budget capped, the algorithm would look to find a little bit more room. So it would try to say, right, well, you're aiming for a TROAS of 300%, let's say. But if you're then massively budget capped, it'll then say, well, actually, we can spend your budget and actually we can get a ROAS of 400% instead. Now, this still wouldn't be as efficient as actually being on demand-led optimization. And fundamentally, this change just means that rather than it trying to find if it can get up from 300 to 400, it'll just get you a 300 and it'll budget cap for the rest of it, which is exactly how it used to work. Sort of prior to smart bidding, it becomes far more important to not be budget capped. It was always important not to be. But the main thing is that it will deplete your budget quicker. You'll see that happen. So ensure that your target ROAS that you're setting is actually what you want to achieve. Really, it comes down to the fundamentals of how PPC works, of getting the right data in, the right target in, and setting the budget to how much you're willing to spend to that. And if you do have a finite budget and you are able to exceed that target, set the target to be higher and control rank cap, essentially, as we'd always recommend.
Exactly. I think it's something that every time we get a new client in, we go through our digital maturity framework with them. And the first part of that discovery is talking about what are your objectives as a business and what KPIs link back to those objectives. And then how do we link those KPIs back into our marketing framework? Lots of marketers and lots of businesses have that fundamental disconnect in that last bit between what they're optimizing to in Google Ads, the signals they feed in the machine, and what their business objective is. Even if it's both optimizing to revenue, for example, they may have a target in Google Ads, which is wildly different to what their acceptable target is in reality and what the business is asking for. And I think this change, what it's doing is it's meaning those advertisers that do have this all aligned across the whole system, they're going to be the ones that are the real winners here. They're the ones who are going to make sure that you've got the most amount of reach efficiently within what you can spend to make sure that you're hitting that ROAS target that you have as a business. If you want to learn more about changes to smart bidding, changes to UCP, everything we've spoken about today, sign up to our mailing list. We always try to post insightful blogs, more content like this straight to your inbox so that you can find it and share it with your bosses and impress them. And if you're interested in a free audit as well for us to check out if your teams are utilizing seasonality adjustments poorly, picking the right targets, choosing the right KPIs for your business, also reach out to us at Kinase.